We started a couple minutes late to let Dany's fireworks.
Except
And
they're
do
still
you hear
going
the
on.
big explosion?
They're still going on. They'll be over soon, hopefully.
What's the occasion?
It's the Saints' Day of our town,
Which saint?
S- Santa Cristina.
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about saints because I'm certainly not one.
No, that makes two of us, my friend. I was the only Jew at the procession. I feel almost certain, but
Um,
but hey,
well, as Billy Joel said, the saints have much more fun.
No,
Anyway,
I think actually Billy Joel said the sinners
the
have much
sinners. I
more
meant the
fun.
sinners. I meant the sinners. There was this great thing on TV yesterday where Billy Joel, this pedicab driver in New York, was listening to Billy Joel, New York State of Mind, in his pedicab, and he drives by a taxi, and guess who's in the taxi?
No,
Yes.
really?
And
Oh my
he kind of
God.
waved, and he's like,
Oh, I love that. I
"Yeah,
love that. That's such a good New York story.
yeah,
And
that's
there are
really
so
great.
few and there are so few good New York stories anymore.
Yeah, that's so true.
Anyway, I've missed you.
I've missed you."
I know I'm glad everything's settled down a little bit.
Yeah.
So what is wrong with Emmanuel Macron?
Well, for anybody that didn't see the news, and it's pretty big news. I mean, lots of countries are doing this, but for France too, he decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine at the UN
A
General
a a,
Assembly.
a state of
A
Palestine. There
state
is
of
no the state of
He
Palestine.
said, no, I'm reading from his statement. He said the
Yeah.
state of Palestine, but a state of Palestine. He said the urgent need today is for the war to end and for the civilian population to be rescued. But that, and we must implement a ceasefire, release all hostages, and provide massive humanitarian aid to the people. We must also ensure that demilitarization of Hamas and secure and rebuild Gaza. And none of that, it's all necessary. We agree. That's one thing we all agree on. But and he said we must build the state of Palestine, ensure its viability, and ensure that by accepting its demilitarization and fully recognizing Israel, it contributes to the security of all the Middle East. Now, you and I may not agree on kind of the future state of Palestine. I believe that there should be one. However,
I'm okay with that too.
the conditions do not exist right now. And my personal feeling is to tie the end of the war to a state essentially rewards Hamas for what they did. One of the, I mean, I, I feel like there should have been a Palestinian state years ago if the conditions would have existed. And the conditions haven't existed. I mean, I would arguably say since 2000. Um,
They haven't
even
existed since 1948 when a
well,
state of Palestine was declared by the United Nations.
I mean,
Look, Elise, look, I agree with you. I agree with you that that what you want for an end state in the territory that was once British Mandatory Palestine is at two states living side by side in peace, in
and
security.
security.
The problem is one of them cannot be a democratic state in which they elect people and have a system of government and respect for the rule of law, and the other be a terrorist state devoted to the eradication and annihilation of the Jewish people. It just doesn't work. And uh, but I will tell you my theory behind Macron. And I'm writing this for the Substack tomorrow. So for those of
What's the
you who
name of the
do not
Substack?
subscribe, what the hell is going on? So apt for every single damn time we talk about it. Because we actually had, coming back to New York for a sec, we had Seth Mandel from Commentary on to talk about Mamdani a couple of weeks ago. And we were talking about the performance art of the far left, the keffiyeh wearing,
You mean
touchstone.
the one you get on like Sixth Avenue, like at one of those vendors, or if you're a little bit more kind of Librazine Limerol. You can buy them at Bloomingdale's
Yeah,
or some other
exactly.
store.
Oh, no,
I'm joking, but I don't know
my
they sell them. If I hear from Bloomingdale's, I don't know that they sell them at Bloomingdale's, but people have certainly found much more elegante keffirs.
exactly. But, of course, they are costumes. They
Yeah.
don't relate in any way to the health and well-being of the Palestinian people. They are performance art, but they are the new performance art of the far left, and, it's starting to dribble into the far right, but not quite yet. Not let's say it's not a tidal wave.
We should talk
But
about that at some point.
I would love to, but the reason I brought that up because I'm now trying out my Substack on all of you, for tomorrow, which is, that, this is now a touchstone of the left, and B, for Macron in a state that has lost its identity, in a state that has given up on the idea of assimilating and integrating its former colonial population and its new immigrants, this is how Macron distinguishes himself from the right, which is pro-Israel. And
The only
wait,
problem
wait, let me
is,
let me
yeah,
let me finish for a sec.
sure.
The guy has a popularity rating that is below 20%. And you cannot distinguish this decision on a quote unquote state of Palestine from his own desire to resuscitate his political fortunes. This is nothing more than cynicism. It's as cynical as Mamdani. It's as cynical as all of the left is on this question, and it is just you know what's so gross about it? It's completely dissociated from any well wishes for the
Well,
Palestinian people.
that's what that's what really bothers me about it.
Right.
Is that I feel like all these years, and the United States has at various points, you can say what you want about John Kerry, but he did make some real efforts to, I did that little disclaimer, but he did make, and I traveled with him a lot during this period. He did, Condi Rice did make a lot of efforts to try and put, um, whether it's governance, financial, economic transparency into, yes, yes, I'm sorry.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars,
I
billions of
didn't say,
dollars
hey,
that we
Danny,
poured into governance.
I didn't say it worked. I said that
Yeah,
there were
exactly.
efforts.
Right.
I said that
We
there were
spent we spent
efforts.
the money.
But what I'm saying is that none of these states that have, are going along with, recognizing, have done the kind of hard work that's needed.
Because they don't
Um,
care. They don't care. This is the problem. The Palestinian people are tokens for them. It's gross.
well, and
It is
also the problem is
gross.
now the UK is facing mounting pressure. And I bet you they're next. Did I see that Spain did it a few months ago? There's a growing number of countries. And the thing is, it doesn't create a state.
No, that's right.
Okay? That's the thing. You can recognize it all you want. What do you think? There's going to be a critical mass, and then all of a sudden, the reality on the ground means that there's a state? Like, none of this. I think there should be more efforts to help the Palestinians get their shit together. I really do.
Yeah,
But
well, but that would be nice. But look, Uber tool, and you and I agree on this totally. Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's great golfing buddy, just abandoned the talks
I saw
with
that.
with right with
Hamas.
Hamas because Hamas was making such ridiculous demands. Walked away and said they're not serious about this. This is, by the way, after I can only go by what was reported since, Steve is not confiding in me, but this is after the Qataris and the Egyptians, who are the front people for Hamas, right? They refused to pass on the latest Hamas
Yeah, because
offer
it was
to the
ridiculous.
Americans and the
Because
Israelis because it was so offensive.
it was ridiculous. But let's talk about Netanyahu for a minute and this whole idea. Wait, before we do that, I do.
That was quite a transition, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've bashed the Palestinians sufficiently. Um, I do wanna talk about what's
Wait,
going
I
on
need
in
to reach my
Gaza,
wine. This
okay?
is a happy hour, and it
Not
is
a cocktail, not
11.
a cocktail. We owe you
Guys,
guys a
I
cocktail.
know. I know, but you know what? Nobody seems to care. And hang on a sec. Let me just reach my
You
wine
could
because
send
it's
us cocktail recipes, people.
11:45 at night. So yeah, I could have a
Mhm.
glass of wine.
Yeah, you can.
Keep going. So you
Um,
baby.
well, before talk about that, I am very bothered by some of these pictures coming out of Gaza. And don't tell me they're pictures of Sudan. They're not really of children in Gaza. The situation is really effing bad.
So let's talk about this for a second. Um, it, no one wants anybody to starve. Uh, and I say that, I mean, again, there are people who I would
Doesn't
probably
need to
not
be
mind,
said.
not mind starving, but innocent people, children in particular. There are almost 1,000 trucks of United Nations
Waiting to
aid.
go in that the
No, no,
Israelis won't let
and
in.
the United no, no, that's not true. The
Yes, it is.
United Nations won't no, it's not. The United Nations won't let them distribute it, and the United Nations refuses to distribute it on its own because it won't meet the conditions that are required for security. I'm sorry.
That's
Who is politicizing food? The in Gaza, there is more aid. Now, these are just the factual numbers. There is more food aid that is available to the Gazans, okay? More food than any other crisis, famine situation ongoing in the world, more than Sudan, more than anywhere else. What is going on here? What's going on is that it has been politicized by the international community. It is being hijacked and politicized and exploited by Hamas. And of course, the end is that innocent people suffer. And the Israelis need to find a way, because it is the Israelis whose reputation is at stake here. The Israelis need to find a way to get that food in.
well,
But the
yeah, and this
idea that
Gaza
this is not a deliberate strategy on the part of the Israelis.
I didn't say it is, but this Gaza humanitarian foundation, these, has been it's got these 4 sites, and I think we both can agree that it's not working and it's dangerous because people are getting, like, either, trampled there or there's looting there. And I'm not saying, it's the Israelis' fault. I'm just saying it's not working. And you know what? You can't lie with some of the pictures that are going on there.
Listen, it's terrible, but again, you know, you want, you know, the Palestinians want to have it, and Hamas and the international
Don't
community want to
equate
have it
the
both ways.
Okay, but
They want to have it both ways.
Don't equate Hamas with starving Palestinians. The Palestinians aren't being like, let me starve and make a political declaration by starving. Come on.
No, that this is exactly what Hamas's leadership wants, however,
I, I,
is to make a
I
political
don't expect
statement
anything
by
from
starving.
Hamas. I mean,
Right, but at the end of the day, they are still in control of large parts of Gaza.
yeah, after,
They are the ones who
three
spent
years of,
all the
after
last
what,
2 years.
2.5 years of war. Yes. So
Yeah.
obviously that war is also not working. Should we move to Syria?
Oh God, Jesus. What why did I pick this region again? Oh, yeah, I
Mm.
remember, because I never had to learn a new name
Yeah. I
because
mean,
there were no democratic governments.
explain what you think is going on there. Like, there are a couple of different reasons why Israel is striking Syria, depending on how you feel about it.
So, I think look, I'll be honest with you, Elise, and I've been to Syria, I'm sure
Hmm.
probably more times than most people. Um, I think it's an extraordinarily complicated
Yep.
situation. Um, I think that there's no doubt that whatever the spark was, the Bedouin taking Druze hostage, the wanton killing, um, that this is how it started. Um, the
And
Israelis,
Israel intervened to protect the Druze.
well, I don't think it deserves air quotes. They
Okay.
intervened to protect the
To protect
Druze.
the Druze.
If it were any other
And
country, if it were any other country, and it were any other country intervening, we would say that protecting the rights of minorities is actually an international humanitarian
Right to protect. You're
imperative.
right. You're right.
Right. So if it were anyone else, we would be saying this is the right thing to do. The fact is that it's the Israelis and it's, of course, Bibi, so it's not the right thing to do because by definition, they can't do the right thing. Part of the challenge here is that, and I really want to believe in the Ahmed Ashara narrative. I don't know whether you do either. I want to believe
I
it.
want to believe in it too.
But
He's
but
wearing a
I'm
suit
having
and
an
everything.
increasingly hard time when they have Uzbeks and Uyghurs and a lot of Central Asian nasties that are apparently
Yeah.
executing people in
Yeah.
southern Syria. So, you know what? I suspect that there was certainly wrongdoing on the part of the Druze. I know there was wrongdoing on the part of the
Or the
Bedouin.
Bedouins.
I don't think that the Syrian government has handled it well. I don't think the Israelis have handled it as well as they should, although I
And the
think that they're
US obviously doesn't think so either because they told the
right.
Israelis. I mean, the US.
Except what the hell is the US position? Seriously, we're on the side of I just I don't
Well, we've
I
talked about this before. There's this whole other
right.
kind of Gulf, Steve Witkoff, his son. Like there's a lot of personal kind of,
Tom
yeah,
Barrack, our
Tom Barrack. No, I
to
meant Tom
Turkey.
Barrack. I didn't mean Steve Witkoff. This one in particular,
Okay.
yeah, Tom Barrack is
Interchangeable.
is the envoy. I'll say that in quotes because he's the ambassador to Turkey, but he also has some financial. I'm not quite clear on what the connection is, but he does have some financial interest in Syria. And then there was that whole deal with the Syrian government that they were talking about minerals there. But basically, I think that now that Iran is in the rearview mirror for now, I feel like Trump is getting a little frustrated with Netanyahu and is like, that one of these officials was saying, I guess to Axios, Bibi acted like a madman. I mean, look,
I'm
Axios
sorry,
is,
Barack
I
Ravid
know,
is just
we're right,
like
right.
right.
Okay, but basically, you know, um, Bibi is not like, playing to Trump's tune, and the administration is getting pissed off. That's basically what it is.
Look, I think the problem is that everybody wants an exit strategy. The United States, the Trump administration wants an exit strategy that is faster, quicker, cleaner, prettier, more headline-ish. Bibi wants an exit strategy that enables him to maintain his political control, but also gets the hostages out, but also as an end game that keeps the PA and Hamas out of power. None of these goals. The problem is none of these goals are achievable. None of them. No matter how good you think they are or how much you disagree or agree with them, the problem is they're not achievable. And look, this has been my business for 4 decades. I have no idea what it is that is the magic solution to get us there. There are so many bad actors here. And, you can like the Israelis, you can dislike the Israelis, you can think they're great, you can think they're awful. At the end of the day, I don't know who they make nice with because you can't have an end game in which Hamas remains in power, but there's nobody to substitute for them.
And
Maybe we could
and
make Emmanuel Macron the president of Palestine.
yeah, and also 3 years in, close to 3 years in, like they still haven't destroyed them. I just don't know. Like there's a law of
Right.
diminishing returns.
I agree with you. I
Okay.
agree with you. I don't have an easy answer. Are we going to talk about Epstein? Because
Yeah.
I want to know what you think. What is
Um.
that? What the hell?
Listen. I mean, I think it was pretty to me. Like, and this isn't cynicism. This is just you know, it
Washington.
was it was Washington, and it's like pretty obvious when the administration was like nothing to see here that there was a reason that Trump was in the files. And I'm not saying
But then why, knowing that he was friends with Epstein all these years, knowing he was photographed with Ghislaine Maxwell, knowing that they only fell out over whatever this Palm Beach real estate deal was, knowing that, which Trump certainly did, why did he make an issue of it during the
I
election? This is an issue that was created by the right,
Yeah,
not by
yeah.
the left.
No, I completely agree. And listen,
So what?
I know you don't like to quote Hillary Clinton that often, but if you remember that famous quote when she was in Pakistan, like, if you lay down with snakes, don't be surprised if they are in your bed when you wake up or something like that. But
I hope she said it better than that, at least,
here,
Lara.
I'll find it. I'll find it. Um, but, listen, this is what happens. You launch all these conspiracy theories, and all of a sudden, like,
They come
you
back
get
and
a
bite
gift.
you in the
They
ass.
come back and bite you in the ass like a snake
And
does in
have
your
they
bed.
mishandled this? I mean, the handling of this has
But what do
been
you,
so
but,
abysmal.
but what do you think? One of our loyal viewers who you know very well said that once, um, but they just want to know. They just want to know. And once
I
the right knows, then they'll give it up. They'll be
Well,
like,
what do they
okay, well,
wanna
fine.
know? What do they wanna
They
know?
they want to know what's in the files, but like out of a morbid
But
curiosity.
but do you know how many pages the files are? Because I saw that today.
Here's my question.
The files are several million
Look.
pages
This
long.
is the only question that matters.
Yes.
Let's say, and we don't know because we don't know what's in them. We just know that Trump was mentioned. Let's say Trump's one of on a client list or something like that.
There are no
Does anybody?
client lists.
Okay.
There are no client lists. I
Okay.
mean,
Well,
this
there
was
are
the
no.
lie that was made up by
Okay.
Kash
Let's say it
Patel and
comes
those
out.
guys.
Okay. Well, let's say it comes out that he was a client, even if there's no
Okay,
list.
okay. Yes.
Does the right care?
I have
This
no
person
idea.
says no.
I have no
Then why do
idea.
they want to know? They know
But
why he's
Elise,
obfuscating. They
can
know
Elise
why he's obfuscating.
well, because he's certainly acting like there's something to hide.
Yeah.
But Elise, can I ask you a totally honest question? And by
Yeah.
the way, guys, for those of you who are on and those of you who are watching later, let us know what you think because
Yeah. Please.
I can I just say I do not
Yes,
give a
David, it
shit.
is irresponsible.
No, no, no. I don't care.
You can't keep
I
snakes in your
did.
backyard.
That's what she said.
She said, we think that Pakistan, for a variety of reasons, has the capacity to push, squeeze terrorists, including the Haqqanis and the Afghan Taliban. Then she said, you can't keep snakes in your backyard and expect them only to bite your neighbors. It was actually much better.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway,
Because she's married to Bill Clinton, so she ought to know.
so,
Yes, David, it is irresponsible to release raw files because who the hell knows what's in them. But
and
bottom line,
Filey's too.
no, I don't. The reason that I have avoided reading about this is
It's
because
because I don't care.
I don't care. He went to jail. He died in jail. I don't care whether he committed suicide or someone killed him.
Yeah, but
I
would
don't
you
care.
care if you knew, like, would you care if public officials were found to be like engaging in sexual acts with young 16-year-old girls or
You mean
younger?
like you mean like Bill Clinton or
Was she
Prince
16?
Andrew? She was 21. My daughter's 21. Let me just say, I do not want my 21-year-old daughter having sex with the gross older president of the United States.
I don't
I
want
just
any.
don't care. I just don't care. This isn't relevant to the
Yeah,
listen, we've got a war
I know. I
between
agree.
Russia and
I
Ukraine.
agree.
We've
I
got the
agree.
Chinese who are just increasingly
But I mean,
evil.
I think that the right like wanted it released so
They made
bad.
this scandal and then but you know what? You're right about the conspiracy theories, right? If you for sure, you lie down with conspiracy theorizing rats, you're gonna get up with conspiracy theorizing,
Don't be surprised if they
typhoid.
poop in your bed.
How can we mix this metaphor even more?
Okay, moving on. Waltz close to being confirmed now, moved out of committee because of Shaheen, which is,
She got a payoff for
good for
that?
her. She got a payoff. But
She did.
listen, I mean, she also kind of said, I think he's one of the more responsible. I think he's one of the more responsible people in this administration. Um, that's a very
I'm
big
a huge
disclaimer.
Mike Wells
I
fan.
know, I know, and I
I
think
don't
he's probably,
he's a
should.
great
I
idea.
I don't think he should have been fired as national security advisor, but whatever.
Yeah, well, yes. We agree about that as well. Uh, look, I'm glad she did that. I'm glad she behaved responsibly. The reason that he wasn't going to get out of committee was because of Rand Paul. Rand Paul, is one of the most loathsome members of Congress. Um, on every metric that I hold dear, and I don't understand why the people of Kentucky think that he is good enough to represent them, because he's not. Uh, it's true about JFK conspiracies, but so many of them were true. Oh my God. He was actually having affairs with everybody. Anyway, let's not get
That's
into
gross.
JFK. Oh, but he
Oh,
was
not
he was
JFK.
gross.
I thought RFK was gross.
Oh God, no, he's even grosser. All right,
Gross.
I digress.
Tulsi,
What? So wait, let's
we
finish up
got a
with
few minutes.
Waltz.
We're going to go over a couple minutes today.
Okay, so
We
let
weren't
me
here
just say
last
about
week. We're
Waltz.
giving you a few. Okay, we're giving you an extra 6 or so minutes.
So I'll tell you exactly what our daughter has been interning for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee
Hmm.
this summer, and she had her exit interview with the staff director, who's an old friend of ours who we've known since he was probably around her age now, and she was trying to think about what she wanted to talk about with him, and she said, want to, I want to just say." How crazy it is to me that Democrats and Republicans really get along well and work together on in the Senate, but they can't seem to get along
Admit it.
well or have normal conversations when they're in colleges. She said, "Isn't that crazy that people whose business it is to be in politics are able to work together, but people who are outside, for whom this is much lower stakes, can't even talk to each other?" I thought that was a great insight. And Jean Shaheen proved to us that even though there was a quid pro quo for her vote, she voted for Mike Waltz. And I respect her for that. And
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
appreciate it.
And I
Okay,
think, I mean, I'd
now,
like to see more of it. Let's,
oh God, inshallah. Um,
Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard should have been fired. She never should have been hired. She should have been fired long ago. Trump axed her out of all of the deliberations on Iran. He
And
axed
now
her out.
she's trying to get back into his good graces.
That's
Why did
exactly
he ask her out? Because she said that there's no nuclear program in Iran.
because again, it troubles me that he was so decisive about Mike Waltz. He was so decisive about all those folks on the NSC who he wanted to axe, but he can't get rid of Pete Hegseth and he can't get rid of Tulsi Gabbard. And those two guys have to go. Tulsi speaking of conspiracy theories. So, you know me, I am a Republican, I'm a conservative. I love National Review. And on our podcast, we often have had, I think he's one of our most frequent guests, actually, Andy McCarthy from National Review. I sent you his piece about these latest revelations about Obama's involvement in Russiagate. And Andy said very clearly, was Obama involved? For sure he was. Did he do bad things? For sure he did. Did he amplify Hillary's efforts to insinuate that the Russians had gotten Trump elected? For sure he did. Is this news? No. We knew this 5 years ago. We knew this 4 years ago when Andy McCarthy from National Review, who is one of the most conservative people at National Review, a former prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, is saying that Tulsi Gabbard is ginning up old news in order to propitiate the president. That is, for me, the
Well,
authority.
and she's doing it because she's like, oh, let me divert attention right now from the Epstein stuff. Let me show that I'm of value to the left.
Gross.
Um, do you want to
We agree.
quickly what?
We
We
agree.
agree? We agree on all. We agree on principles. We don't agree on tactics
That's true.
most of the time.
That's true.
We might not agree on Colombia though.
What, their $200 million fine that they're paying over 3 years for being anti-Semites, for
No,
being
it's not
bigots,
about it's not about look, they
for violating U.S. law, for
I'm not
violating the
arguing
Civil
about
Rights
Colombia.
Act.
I'm not arguing about Colombia. I don't like the idea that Trump is trying to shake down universities, law firms, media organizations to, you know, Get
You're
him off
right.
their back. I
You're
really
right.
don't like
All
it.
that
And you know
money
what?
should
I'm
definitely remain on the left. He
I'm
should
I'm
never
not gonna
take
go
that.
there. Nope.
That should be something that only the Democrats are allowed to do.
Give me a break. But what I'm
Am I getting
saying
the last
is
word?
no. Um, they don't call me Elise Blabbit for nothing in high school. Anyway, but what I'm saying is, and I've thought about these law firms and all this, like,
The law firm
you know,
stuff we agree on.
do we,
I agree.
these, whoever they are, whether it's media or whatever, they feel like they don't have a choice because he's going to put them out of business anyway. He's going to take their status away. He's going to basically like kill them anyway. So they're all caving. And I just think it's like, you know, I'm not even talking about the policies. All I'm saying is like, this guy has no scruples.
Oh, there you go, Elise Blabbit. You are breaking news. Folks, Donald Trump has no scruples. And on that
It
note,
bothers me on some days more than others.
you know what? When it comes to Columbia University, it doesn't bother me ever. Ever. Go after Harvard next, Donald. Hey, I'm
You
glad
think
to have you
Harvard? What
back.
do you what do you think? Harvard should just close and go away?
They could send us a check.
Okay.
How about that? Can we agree that that's the
I would
right
like
outcome?
Columbia to send us a check for 200 million and
That's
we'll do
justice.
more. We'll do it every day.
Oh my God,
We'll
for
do
that
hot
much?
takes happy hour every day.
I could drink constantly.
Yeah. Good to
Bye,
have you.
everybody.
We'll see you next week. Let us know what you want to talk about. Maybe when we put out our link next week, just let us know what's on your mind. And we might have a cocktail for you next week.
I will. I promise.
Bye
Ciao.
everybody.
Bye. How do I get out of here? Oh, there.
I'm gonna do it.